As I just said, each week we review two indie game store pages and provide marketing advice and on the overall structure of it. And if you are interested in re-reviews, we are currently going to be opening that up. So for any developer who had a game reviewed, if you would like to resubmit it for a future video, please get in touch with us.
Or if
And
you haven't submitted yet, please submit.
mm-hmm. Hey, Pony.
We're here to try to help you improve your marketing for your games.
Mm-hmm. And as a bit of a spoiler alert for next week's taping, we will be doing our first re-review and seeing if the game does manage to get a higher score. So, I think with that, are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Alright, we are starting with Smelter. The two games for this week are some of the ones that I've had a chance to play. Incidentally, they come from the same publisher, but two very different games, both in terms of their structure, as well as some of the things we're going to see on their respective store pages. So, as always, we'll begin with the thumbnail, and I'm not a huge fan of this one. I feel like it is very busy. What about you?
Yeah, I think the structure of everything is off. Like my eyes are being pulled in every direction they shouldn't be pulled in, and they're not going in the directions that they should be. The Smelter text and the way that's written is very hard to read, as well as the kanji underneath it, because that's like white text on a very, very light green background. And the yellow fist or whatever that is pointing towards nothing kind of thing. And like there's no structure here that's pointing my eyes where they need to go in direction.
Like you said, the title's a little hard to read. I feel like the main character blends too much. Like, she doesn't really stand out other than the fist, which, as you said, the fist is just like, it's pointing at this rock.
Yeah, the structure is all off. I think the images here are good, but the organization, the structure, the way text falls on backgrounds and everything, I think that's just all wrong right there.
Yeah. And as I said in like the pre-show, like I feel like this isn't a thumbnail that is like bad or the art is bad, but it doesn't attract you. So, as I was saying, like as with this title card, or I'm sorry, with the thumbnail, like it's not done bad, but I fear that this is one that, because nothing is attracting your eye, like people are just going to like scroll like right past it when they're looking at games.
Yeah, I think that this is not going to draw your eye in any kind of meaningful way.
So grade wise, thinking B. I think somewhere in the B range.
I think probably B minus.
Yeah. It's not
just because the structure is just a complete mess.
Yeah. The art is good, and again, what's here is good. It's just not laid out in a way that is going to attract a consumer. So, let's go to the trailer. Somebody tells me I'm going to have to screen this. There we go.
So we're starting with a cold opening of a... Oh. My trailer screwed up.
Got anime opening here.
Yep.
Like, the art in the anime, I think, is really nice.
Although it's more cartoon than anime.
Mm. But this is 24 seconds of no in-game footage.
Yeah, that's just way too long.
Yeah. And the music is not matching what's happening. There's no build-up.
No, this music is just completely out of place.
Yeah. The
It
footage
is
they're
showing us
showing is
good
good.
footage of the game, though.
But it's not zoomed in, it's just like naked footage.
I mean, some of that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, I think it depends, kind of thing, on that.
And the black background with white text, I feel like they could have put some of that text maybe over gameplay. I do like the font; it does stand out.
Or maybe just dress up the black screen more.
Yeah, like all.
I think it's fine to use a black screen. It just needs to be not just a black screen.
And then we have another like 15 seconds of cartoon. Smelter. We have the call to action at the end is good. Shows everywhere that's at. Like again, I think it has that same problem that everything here is good. It's just not presented, I think. Well.
Yeah. And there's too much. I wouldn't say there's too much animation, but the animation, like, it gets waits too long to get into gameplay, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels bad because of that.
Yeah.
But like, if you were to take that animation and you were to disperse it throughout here, it wouldn't make sense either, because like, it doesn't fit what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the ideal thing would be make a cutscene that you could, an animation like that would be able to be dispersed throughout the gameplay that would fit each section of the gameplay, rather than, feeling out of place,
Yeah.
and so, like, my suggestion for this one would be make it shorter or make it different, and where it would disperse, and that would cost a lot more money. So I would probably go on the side of using less of that animation.
I feel like the problem here is that everything is good. Like all the in-game footage they're showing works. Like it's very action, it's very distinctive, but nothing feels cohesive. What we say, like the sum is greater than the individual parts. I feel like that's not happening here. Like it's not. Everything is not connected together.
I think a big part of that's the music.
Yeah.
Because the music really does not fit. Because if you watch a trailer without the music, it actually seems like a better trailer.
Yeah. And I'm actually playing it as we're talking, like with it just like in the smaller version. Like when you're not, and again, music is such an integral part of trailers because you need to be able to have all that there.
And you need, and the music that's in the trailer doesn't have to be music from the game. As a matter of fact, generally it's better to not have music from the game. Not because you don't want to put in-game music in here, but because oftentimes you cannot match the mood properly with your game music.
And that's what Derek talked about, because most in-game music is designed to loop. Like, it's not designed to, build or do anything along those lines.
The structure's not built there.
Yep. So,
generally.
So, trailer-wise, again, I think it's the same issue that the thumbnail has. What's here is good, it's just not structured right. So, what do you think? B plus?
I'm thinking solid B.
Yeah. And as people who've watched this or have watched our show, I think you have an idea where this grade is going to go at the end. But
yeah, because they would know that the thumbnail and the trailer are a good part of the grade.
Yep. So let's get with the screenshots. So a few of these screenshots are repeated from the trailer, but as we were saying before, they're really good screenshots. Nuclear blasts in the Garden of Eden, fighting giant dragon.
The giant dragon was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a really really good one.
Yeah. And then the other
It,
ones were not.
yeah, and here's the thing: is repeating your trailer footage in your your screenshots is generally bad, but they have 11 screenshots here.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum is 5, so
This is
you can
still
say that
really
three
good.
that the 11, 6 of them don't even are extras. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
But the
again, you go.
two, they only included 2 from the trailer, and those 2 are very eye popping and very
Yeah.
very good for screenshots. So like that's acceptable kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you did that and you only had 5 screenshots, that would be bad.
Yeah. So I
But if
think
you
this
did that and
is
had 7, that would probably be frowned upon. But if you have like, I
11
don't
or
know, 8, 9, then that's welcomed.
yeah.
It's
So
it's sort of like this arbitrary rule kind of thing, but
mm-hmm.
it's kind of how things work.
Yep. Arbitrary game development.
Arbitrary store page development.
Yeah. So I think this is a solid A plus for the screenshots.
Yeah, I would give it an A plus. Yeah,
Yeah.
even though they're reusing in the proper way.
Yeah. So
They're keeping it to a very minimum, and they're only doing it on the most eye-popping, flashy, like bam in your face
mm-hmm. So
screenshot.
let's get to the about this game. So we start with a GIF, and the GIF I feel is a little long, and you're going to hear that complaint over the next like 2 to 3 minutes about this page.
Yeah, and also there's the GIF is rather abrupt because there's no text or anything above it. No banners,
Mm-hmm.
no fonts, no blue font, no white font, no
Yeah.
nothing above it. And I would like at least a single word,
You know,
at minimum above it.
Smelter, this game,
Yeah.
action.
Although you have to be careful if you were to use a banner as the one thing above this,
Mm-hmm.
because then you run into the issue of
Cherry by
too many
law.
things blaring together. But it all depends on how you make your banners, kind of
Yeah.
thing. If
So
if your banner is like a full image, then yeah, they'll have the issue of blurring in. If your banner is just a fancy font with like some kind of fancy line, it's probably not going to blend in.
yeah. All right. So first paragraph is a little wordy. You don't want to have all this text. You want at most, I think, 2 to 3 lines, and then you
Yeah,
want to break that up with a GIF, something.
yeah. This is. I would say maybe even a paragraph might be acceptable, but like this is like a run-on paragraph. What this is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? This
Mm-hmm.
is not. This is
Like
not a paragraph. And a
right.
paragraph would be really pushing it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But a run-on paragraph is pushing it way too far.
Yeah. The when after it says annexing key locations, they could have broken that up with a GIF and then use build, attack, and advance your army underneath that as a new paragraph.
Yeah, that's what they should have done.
Yeah.
That
So
would have been a lot better structure.
yeah. Second GIF is the tower defense gameplay. It's okay. And then we have another very big thing, and then the story, they mess up on the formatting. They should have hit another enter here so that it's actually a space between these two paragraphs.
Yep. There should be another enter between powers and offering.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a clear division there.
And the final GIF is very weird. So we have this explosion, goes to white, and then she's just staying there talking to this guy.
Yeah, and that last part doesn't make any sense. Just ended at the explosion. Don't make it long.
I mean, the explosion kind of ends it right there. I mean, you have the ending right there for you.
Yep. And then it's like, yeah, we're going to keep on going.
That seems to be their weakness. So they have a good idea, but then they keep going, and they kind of dilute it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like The structure here is good, but again, it's not laid out right. You
I,
need.
I would say that it's not good. It's decent
Mhm,
because the laying out is part of the structure.
mhm. Like you have three gifts, but the three gifts are like long enough that they could be maybe like two or three gifts individually.
hmm There's no text or anything at the top.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot we have the
Smelter,
features.
Smelter should have been in blue text at the very first Smelter word,
Yeah.
like they did with story and features.
hmm Or even use Smelter as like maybe like a custom banner, like above that
Yeah,
first GIF.
yeah,
So then we have features, and this is laid out right. We have bullet points, we have everything organized to lines, but there's a lot of text here that could have been broken up with some GIFs.
yeah. At least I don't think it's necessary to put gifts in your bullet points, but it definitely cannot hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And there definitely needs to be more gifts here. But the fact is all the gifts here are long, and they're like a bunch of gifts combined into one.
Yep. And it's better to have more gifts that are shorter than fewer gifts that are longer. Because you want to use them to help kind of properly break up your page and format it better.
Yeah, and you can't when you have the gifts and everything. It's the thing you have to worry about the gifts is that they have a certain amount of bandwidth that they're going to cause you to download.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're downloading this, I mean, you want it to be optimized for people in other countries without, or in the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. that don't live in a major city, to be able to actually download this reasonably fast. So like, you have that limited space, but it's
Mm-hmm.
better to break the GIFs up into smaller portions so
Mm-hmm.
they work better.
Yeah. And I mean, like the final part of I'm not sure if we call it the first or the last part of the final game where she like goes and does her ultimate to kill the guy. That's a really good part, and that could have been its own thing in of itself.
Yeah,
So again, there's good stuff here, but it's not being presented well. So
yeah.
great. What do you think? B minus B?
I think B.
Mm-hmm. All right. And now I got the title card. So we
And I'll
got
let you cover this. I'll be right back again.
okay. So title card, we have multiple genres: action, adventure, indie, simulation, strategy. Indie is good for Steam, but it doesn't really qualify your game. But you want, I think, at least three. I think like any game can get by with at least three genres. I'm trying to think if there's any others that would fit here. Like I don't know if platformer is a genre tag, but certainly action and adventure. We have developer, we have publisher, lots of different publishers. We have a website, we have Twitch, we have Twitter, we have YouTube. So, yeah, I'm lonely right now with Shark Out. I wonder where
Oh, I'm
everybody.
here.
Oh, there he is. I wonder where everybody is. But still, I think this is a really good title card. Like, there's nothing here that I would say it needs to add. So I'm thinking
Except for
maybe,
maybe something to the developer itself.
yeah. But they do have a website. They do have the Twitter is to the game itself.
Oh, they do have some stuff to the developer, don't
Yeah.
they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm confusing with this with the other one.
I think this is an A plus or at least solid A. What about you?
Yeah, I think this would be an A plus.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, what are you thinking?
Huh? We gave it a lot of B's.
Yeah, it has B syndrome.
Yeah.
not the bees.
I think this is a solid B. What about you?
Yeah, I think this is a solid bees
Hmm.
with a not followed by a not the bees after that.
I really don't like how so few reviews, and that is
Yeah,
a mystery in of itself.